Hey everyone, welcome to your Autumn Equinox Pick a Leaf reading. I'm excited to bring these to you for this 3-month period, and it's actually a part 2 of two of these videos that I'm doing. The first one was actually back on August 8th, and those were the Lion's Gate portal readings. Those were letting you know what you were surrendering to or what you were getting ready to surrender, and that energy has been working since August 8th up until this reading, which will be from September 22nd to December 21st for this year. And these readings are going to be out, because autumn, fall, what is falling away out of your life to make room for the new. So I will go ahead and put the link for the Lion's Gate portal readings in the description box below, and also a link to the playlist at the end of this video, just to make it convenient for you there. So I would definitely go check those out if you haven't already, just to see what energies we're bringing you into this autumn equinox period. And as I mentioned, this is a pick a leaf reading, so you do have a choice between 3 different leaves, or 2 or 3, as many as you want. We don't limit it here, but if you want to choose the red leaf, that's reading number 1. The orange leaf will be reading number 2, and the yellow leaf will be reading number 3. Number 1 we're going to do first, and so if you chose one of the others, that timestamp will also be in the description box below. So let's dive right in and see what this fall equinox is going to be bringing you. All right, my Virgos, if you chose reading number 1, which is the red leaf, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from these, the Power of Surrender cards. And this is just going to represent what the Creator wants you to know about what is falling away out of your life during the autumn period. And don't worry, we're going to quickly then move on to what is going to be moving into that energy in that space that is being left as these things fall away. So we'll definitely look into what new is coming your way. Let's use a couple more shuffles here. There we go. All right, Creator, and what do you want our Virgos that chose the first reading for the red leaf to know about what's falling away in their fall season? All right. Oh, there we go. You got surrender negative thinking. So negative thoughts are falling away. And it says here, let's see, doesn't look like that's a little blurry there. It says you have control over your thoughts. When negative thoughts surface, say, "Thank you for sharing," and quickly refocus on positive affirmations. So definitely the fall period is this time frame that you're having happen in your life where these negative thoughts that have just been biting at you for a long time, and some of it, again, with just our lives in general, sometimes we don't even realize how negative we're being around a situation and how negative a thought is around a situation until something comes to really really contrast it. Like it might be dark, but it's surrounded by dark, so we don't see it, but suddenly when light comes in, it's like, oh, I see that. It's kind of like either like you have a white sweater with a little dark piece of lint on it and it stands out, or the opposite, you have a dark sweater with a bright, piece of white thread, it stands out suddenly. And that's what kind of I feel what is happening. And it's something that's come to your attention that you're wanting to change, and that's why it's falling away, because you're ready to let that negative thinking around that person, that situation, whatever it might be, to fall away. And then we're going to pull a card here from the Wild Unknown archetype and just see what, with this negativity falling away, what does that space open up for you in your life? And one more time. All right, Creator, what do you want our Virgos to know that chose the red leaf? What is new is coming into their life? Or what do you want them to know about? What space opens up here? Okay. And then you have the underworld. And I really feel that, and I'll read from the book here too, but, the underworld, it just opens up this whole new space. It's like, and I really think the description I had of the black sweater, and there's a light piece appears on it. Suddenly you're like, wow, look how much darkness I'm wearing with this sweater. And this underworld not only shows you a lot of the shadow stuff that's been going on, because you're going to be having this spark of light come into you, and we'll talk about this, but I really feel from the Lionsgate portal that happened on August 8th up until the equinox started, starting on September 22nd, that during this period of time there's something that just brings this big spark, and you suddenly see into your shadow. You suddenly see that there is this large shadow, and these things that you wanna take a look at, because they're drawing on your energy, and you're it's like you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You're ready to move on, and this underworld just shows you that that's where you've been living, is in the underworld, and you're ready to break through that surface and come out into the sunlight. So the underworld also for me represents kind of getting into your unconscious, connecting to the higher realms, to your higher self, to the Creator, to Spirit, Holy Spirit, your guardian angels and spirit guides and loved ones on the other side, just that whole massive group of beings of unconditional love and light up there, connecting to them, and with all that, with that higher perspective you see things from that higher view. But let me see what comes in here. Oh, I must have opened it right to the right page. Nope. I was looking at LX, not XLV. There we go. So the underworld for this card is about the nightmare, the ordeal, the bottom. So this is no time to mince words. The archetypal territory of the underworld is fraught with nightmares, suffering, and pain. It is the darkest shadow realm, which we try vigilantly to avoid or deny at any cost. But try as we might, the darkness pulls us into its depths through disturbing dream images, unexpected accidents, illness, war, conflict, and ultimately death. Pretty much all this negative thinking things, right? Not visiting the underworld or denying its existence altogether is what gives it dangerous power. Traversing it forces us to bow humbly to the greater forces that be, while summoning the inner strength we previously underestimated. So take solace that the underworld subsumes everyone from time to time, making us deeper friends, more intimate partners, soldiers of light amid our shadowy times. So facing darkness and choosing light is the most profound calling of all. That's so crazy, just with this negative thinking and with that underworld. And it says one of the earliest stories on record is that of the goddess Inanna. It's Inanna, her descent, or the goddess, her descent. Turns out descending into the underworld is as old as time itself. So search for images of a map of Dante's Inferno. What does the story of the epic descent stir in you? When you're in the light side of this energy, you have bravery, depth. You face your deepest fears. When you're in the darker energies of this underworld, then you're in denial. You're suppressing things. You feel evil. You have unconsciousness. And it also says to go deeper into these energies, you can read Meeting the Shadow, edited by Connie Zweig, Zweig, and Jeremiah Abrams. So if you feel that resonates, you can go check that out as well. But this is it makes so much sense, because it is this place that you are that sick and tired of being sick and tired. I really feel like this 10 of Swords energy, where you're face down in the dirt with all these swords and these beliefs and all this negative thinking, is in your back. But in one of my favorite cards, they're not dead. They're looking away from us in the card toward the sunrise, which the 10 is endings and new beginnings. And so it really is this place of understanding that you're ready to let those things go, because you're seeing that they are no longer serving you. They did serve you because they gave you all these experiences of the shadow that you came here to experience. But there's certain things that you're done with and you're ready to let go of. So we will definitely dig in more into this. And what we're going to do, we're going to pull cards here from this, the Wild Unknown Tarot, which is, of course, the companion deck to these archetype cards. And what we're going to do is pick like 4 different areas, or 4 different sections of cards. The first is going to represent the energies that you're bringing in to the Autumn Equinox. So we're going to do from Lionsgate, August 8th, all the way up till September 22nd. So that's what this card is going to represent, is what energies or experiences you're bringing in that bring you into this falling away period. And this one is going to be September 22nd up to October 22nd. This card will be October 22nd up to November 21st. And that's one day less because there's 31 days in October, so it takes it back a day. And then November 21st, this card will be up to December 21st, which is the winter solstice. So I'm just going to shuffle these one more time here. And we'll begin. So Creator, what do you want our Virgos to know about this Lionsgate energy on all the way up to September 22nd, when that starts there? What do you want them to know about this energy? Okay. So those 2 there. And then September 22nd, please. October 22nd. Okay. And they have told me that it's this one and this one. They're giving that one in advance. It's not 2 cards for theirs, so we will listen. It usually turns out better that way if I do. And then we're also going to pull clarification cards for each of these sections from these Everyday Tarot when we get there. So the energy you're bringing in from Lionsgate, August 8th all the way up to September 22nd. And you got the High Priestess. So definitely, this is the one that goes into the underworld, the unconscious. She's able to also connect to the higher realms. So, it's definitely, so perfect for everything we were talking about, because the High Priestess is the one, the moon is very mothering, nurturing. And so the search and the, descending into the unconscious and then moving into the upper world, the higher world above even our physical world, is her realm. And so that makes so much sense that, when we're talking about this light that's coming, you're already understanding this negative thinking. And because of this High Priestess energy, you have really revealed so much about this, those negative things, or, those things that are those shadowy things. I just read recently, negative things are negative to us when they are not matching up to our ego. So our ego wants this. This is what's happening. Those are negative things. Those are negative thoughts because they're not what we're wanting in our human ego side. So these are those things that are being revealed to you. And you're realizing, they're not as negative as I thought they were. They're just these obstructions, these mirrors pointing me back to myself, and that resistance that's happening is to wake me up instead of just going smoothly, and the ego getting everything at once in the world. It never looks into the deeper parts of itself or connects to the heavenly, hosts that are there. Because if we were having these perfect lives, we wouldn't, try to fix something that's not broken. We would just be going, woo, 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 this is fun. But we have these things that are going, no. And we're like, wait a minute, give that back to me. And then we have our little tantrum as our little 2-year-old inside of us. And then all this emotion triggers inside of us that feels negative, that turns us inward. Yeah. And so we were talking about that brightness that you encountered during this period. Like I was talking about, there it is. Star card, which this represents hope. But I love it because it's recognizing who you really are, this bright being in the heavens. And you're also surrounded by all your other stars and orbs, which is all those beings I was talking about that connection up above. So this is definitely a message for me. Exactly what I was saying before. You've connected into the depths. You've seen the darkness, and you've seen because this lightness has done it. And that's when stars, when you see stars, is in the darkness. During the daytime, that's what you see. But at nighttime, you get to see all the stars. And so it's in this darkness and this negativity, in the shadowy type of experiences that you've been having, that you see the light. So we'll also see what else the Creator wants you to know here. We'll use a little shuffle for these everyday tarot. I love this little deck. One more time. All right, Creator, what do you want our Virgos to know about this period of time here? What else? I feel like it's very much embracing. Yeah. There we go. So yeah, you got the 10 of Cups, which this is all about emotional fulfillment, feeling whole on so many different levels for the first time, and just seeing, it's like this dual message that I always get with this, because the cups are our emotions, and so it's not necessarily meaning that everything that we're expecting, all our expectations of the external world, are being fulfilled. It's about feeling emotionally whole, which when you connect to this side of you, when you realize this higher being that you are, and this connection to this realm of unconditional love and acceptance, when you have that flood into you, then all this external stuff just becomes extra. You feel this wholeness within you, and then you just feel, rather than all this stuff has to happen before you feel lovable and acceptable, you start off from the get-go feeling powerful, supernatural, eternal, full of unconditional love, and everything is abundance. You're already feeling abundant, and all these other things that you have in the external world, you have so much gratitude and thankfulness for it, because it's just all extra and it's all wonderful. So I love all that energy. So no wonder, like we were talking about at the beginning, you've seen the light. It's like this amazing, powerful energy that's coming in for you. And that's a way to start fall, right? So September 22nd. Yeah, so you have the Hermit here. And so this light, the Hermit card usually has like a lantern with a star in it, and that's the star that's in it. So this is the light, this is you. So as I was saying, you've seen the light, that's the light of you. And it happens when you're drawn into this quiet space, into this alone space. The Hermit doesn't necessarily mean that you're pulling away from everything out in the world and you're becoming a hermit up in the mountains. It just means you're giving yourself the time, the nurturing, the time alone, the time away from all this chaos and negativity that's happening out in the world, all those things that are triggering your little small ego self. You're taking this time away to spend time with your spiritual self, with reaching, into the depths, because it's like this, like I was talking about. Once you found one little thing and you're like, wow, look at all this stuff, you're so excited to dig into more deeper into more things. It actually excites you that you were able to move something that was seeming shadowy and dark and transform it into something very bright and beautiful. And so all this that you've been doing, you just carry on into this month, and it's like you're becoming addicted to transforming your shadow feelings into these emotions of unconditional love and peace and joy and laughter, which I understand completely. It reminds us of home. It reminds us of where we are. And we don't diss our shadow, because our shadow was super brave to detach itself from the collective, from that realm of unconditional love and joy and laughter, to experience fear and what it might feel like to be limited and small. And all the opposite emotions and opposite existences we have as our real self, as the star. And but there, and we come here like to experience all that on purpose. And so rather than, thinking we need to kill our shadow and destroy it, it's like, well, the shadow exists in the physical realm because of our brightness. If we weren't beings of light, there wouldn't be any shadow, because you need light to have a shadow. So what else, Creator, do you want them to know about this month, September 22nd here? Okay. Anything else? Okay, no, that's the only one for this one. Yeah. So death and rebirth. And this is so funny. I mean, that's the underworld, right? The death is the underworld, like the Egyptian underworld, and a lot of the mythology and everything else talks about the underworld being the realm of the dead. But this is about death and rebirth as well. You've got the bright star on the flag. And so, excuse me, this really is, again, all about transformation of darkness into light. And transforming those negative emotions here. So that is so perfect. So there's really nothing else to add to that. So we're going to go on to October 22nd here, which is when you have the Seven of Cups here. And I love that it has the moon and the sun. So it has, in the darkness, you still have the light, and this is the new moon, and then you have a full moon, which is full brightness, but you've got both in here. And the Seven of Cups really is about choices. It's about all these emotions. And for me, for this reading, what this card represents is that and like I was talking about, you came here as your shadow to experience everything in this lifetime. So all these cups are all the emotions that you've experienced, and these are all moon, which the moon, is so perfect here. This represents the underworld that you're going into with the high priest. You experience and go into the darkness with all those emotions. And then the one emotion that's of light is this one cup. Now this is the Ace of Cups for me and for this reading. So it's jumping out because this is the light. The Ace of Cups is your star. This is you. It's like the chalice, the Holy Grail. And that cup is filled with the living waters. And it's even like the star card here is Aquarian. And this very much reminds me of the Aquarian. They're the water bearer. And so the vessel they bring is the light, is the living waters, because all these emotions that we are feeling of darkness, of the shadowy type of emotions, like, betrayal and sadness and anger, and all those that are rooted in fear rather than unconditional love, we purposely come here to experience so we can understand ourselves more deeply, like I was talking about. And so this card is representing that for you, that all these cups, all these emotions that you felt before, you're realizing that as you come into October 22nd to November 21st, that when you go back and look at those emotions, when you have that kind of attitude toward what you've experienced in your past, rather than being bitter about those experiences or feeling worthless because of your experiences or having them define you, instead you see that you purposely came down here to experience those. And in experiencing those, you understand more fully who you are as this star, being, this being of light, this bright light. And the example that I came across that really made sense to me is like on the other side, we are these beings of unconditional love, right? And that's all we're surrounded by. That's all we know. It's all bright, bright light. And so we don't even know that exists because we don't have any opposite to compare it to. So when we come down here and we experience conditional love and all these emotions of fear, then we're like, oh, from that viewpoint, we then see, like I was talking about, all of these cards are like black and white. If this entire card was black, you wouldn't see the turtle. If it was entirely white, you wouldn't see the turtle. So because of the contrast, you can see the turtle is more defined and understands itself more. And that is what, this information, this wisdom that comes to you, and you're able to look back over these periods of time. Because like the Six of Cups, if it was without that Ace of Cups in there, that would be the Six of Cups, which is about looking back over our past, looking at the nostalgia, all those experiences and emotions we felt, and you see them in this new bright light because you have found this Ace of Cups, which is you found yourself, you found that connection to your higher realm. And then we'll see what else the Creator wants you to know about that period of time between October 22nd and November 21st. All right, Creator, what else? What else do you want them to know? Okay, anything else? Okay. So you have the Ace of Swords, which is pretty cool too, because the Ace of Swords, swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mentality, your mindsets, those types of things. And the Ace of Swords is your power of new thought. And it's the sword that you're able to cut away those things that no longer serve you, that cut away these, the negative thinking, and it helps you transform. So it's totally makes sense that comes up with these, with all this revisiting old emotions and old situations and circumstances, and you come away with this new awareness, this new perception of those. And that kind of happens, like an example of how that happened in my life, when in like relationship wise, when I had individuals that, in my shadow side, I felt betrayed me because they didn't do what I wanted them to, or what we had supposedly agreed to, about monogamy and, all that kind of stuff. So when that ended up not happening, reality didn't match the supposed to, then I felt, this betrayal, and I felt, it happened over and over again with number 2 and number 3, and then number 4 just treated me, spoke to me in a degrading manner, and, number 5 used me for my money, and there's all these disrespectful things that I felt they were all doing to me, right? But when I look back with this, awareness that, everything unfolds for me, and that all the stuff that was happening was for me to understand more about myself. When I saw them as teachers, that were all, like they all had agreed, they were all these beings of light that came down here in physical form, in these human characters, to perform these acts of mirrors, pointing me back to myself, showing me how I felt about myself until I saw it. And so each of them, when I went back, I see them as beautiful, wonderful teachers, and I don't hold any resentment or any ill to them anymore, because I realize that, you couldn't love me or treat me any more than I loved myself and was treating myself. I didn't believe I was worthy of being faithful to. I didn't believe I was worthy of being spoken well to. I didn't believe that I had any worth besides the money that I could provide, someone. And so all that stuff, pointed me back to me, and it totally, when I went back, it transformed those into very loving cups instead of cups of poison, right? But that's the power of this Ace of Swords as well. Yeah, and then you have Justice. So you have the Ace of Swords that she has in her hand, which is awesome. And then you have the little balancing scale here. And for me, this is always a message of balancing your human side with your higher heavenly side. So it definitely, justice isn't about, for this one, it's amazing because when we think we want justice, it's coming from our ego, like these people that did those things to me, they should be punished. They should have the same thing happen to them or worse. That's our ego, that's our judgment, that's our fear speaking. But when we move from a place of unconditional love, and I look back, so on one side of the scale, my ego, did want punishment, wanted revenge, wanted justice. They deserve it, But on the spiritual side, when you connect from that unconditional love, and I saw that they were all playing these characters for me, it wasn't happening to me. You get to this place even where you're like, not that and I forgave them, at that point, but you even go to this higher place where you're like, well, there was nothing to forgive. I hired you as actors to appear in my life to teach me these lessons because that's what I wanted to be able to understand and see that contrast and feel all that. And so that's the kind of energy that comes with the Justice card. Is on one hand, our fear ego definitely wants, revenge disguised as justice, and on the other side we have that being of unconditional love and goes, what is there to forgive? You asked them to do that and you're like, oh yeah, good point. So that's a beautiful energy that comes through this really self-reflection and reflection on those past emotions. And then that brings you to November 21st which then you have Judgment. So definitely this just adds on to everything I was saying about the Justice card here, because all this down here, all these crows, these are the judgmental thoughts, the human side of us, the fear human side of us, but then we experience who we really are, which is this bright light, this being. Usually the Judgment card has like someone raising out of a coffin, and being called by a trumpeter. It's like the rapture of sorts. But it's all about understanding who we really are. Who we really are happens after death. After this ego and this little character that we're playing here, this little avatar for this game that we're playing, when that ends, then we remember and return to who we really are in fullness of all that. And I love that it's always the XX, which is 2 10s together, which is about endings and new beginnings in so many ways. So that's just so perfect with this message. And we'll pull final cards here for this last period from November 21st to December 21st. What else the Creator wants you to know about that. But I do love that you have the star here, your brightness, your bright light here. You're the sun, star here, you're the brightness here. So it really is this wonderful message of this beautiful remembrance and connection to who you really are. You're seeing this illusion of this planet, of this human character. What else? Okay. I laugh because you have the 0, the Fool card, which for me, this is our soul. This is our little human character of ourselves getting ready to jump on. You have all your bag of everything you need. And you're jumping off into the world. You're jumping off down here into your adventure in this world. So for me, this, it can mean like new beginnings, which this is endings and new, so this is the new beginnings too. But it really, for me, it screams, this is our soul, our higher self. So definitely another reiteration of that. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles, which is all about, just you're being blessed. You're having all this wonderful success in the things that you're doing, the work that you're doing. And I really feel this is about the inner work that you're doing. And just to keep on doing it. Just keep on focusing on the moment, because you've just been taking it a step at a time, and you look back and you realize, wow, I've done all that stuff. I've accomplished all those things. And and so just know that the work that you're doing is bringing benefit to yourself, and all that work that you're doing within yourself automatically flows out into the people around you, but into the collective as well. If you look at each one of us as a drop contributing to the giant ocean, whatever you do within yourself is what influences the entire collective. And if enough people do inner work and move that energy from the shadow into the love, then the love just grows on the planet as well. So beautiful, beautiful messages here. And then lastly, we're going to pull, another Wild Unknown deck. This is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And this is going to represent what animal spirit or animal spirit energy is going to be with you from like the Lion's Gate all the way through up until at least the winter solstice. So we will see what is going to be with you. What's your tour guide on this little adventure? All right, Creator, what do you want our Virgos to know? Okay, there we go. So we got the hummingbird. So beautiful. Little bright light. And let me just see what message the hummingbird brings. It almost seems like it floats, right? Positive, enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. So inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. Surrender negativity. Here's your little bundle of positivity. So the hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar, and it returns to these sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird, and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. And when you're in balance with this hummingbird energy, you're smart, you're curious, you love to learn. When you're out of balance with this energy, then you're pushy, insistent, and sharp. And to bring this into balance, it says take a class. So learn, and I love the focus on spiritual, the spiritual journey that it mentioned in here. Yeah, exploring spirituality is a huge piece of all this. And what a perfect spirit animal to help you go through the underworld, through this, place of negativity. It's just this little bundle of positivity. Almost feels like, Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, right? Tinkerbell is this little, she's zipping around and fast, and all this beautiful magic and beautiful light to help you through this journey. So when you see the hummingbird in nature, in real life, or on social media, or however it comes across, and you might even just, print out, or if you're artistic in any sort of way, draw a picture of a hummingbird, put it on your refrigerator, put it wherever you see it as a reminder that you have this beautiful assistance with you, as well as all these other, stars and all those other beings of unconditional love and light all around you, bringing light and love to you to help you through this beautiful journey and this beautiful transformation that you're going to be going through in autumn. So yeah, definitely you're ready to let this negative thinking fall away in so many areas of your life, and totally worth it, right? Yeah, and just know as you go through every day, every second of autumn, that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things, and I love you too. You have an amazing autumn, and I'm sure I will talk to you very soon. You take care. All right, my Virgos, if you chose reading number 2, which is the orange leaf, then this is your reading. And we will start off here by pulling a card here from the Power of Surrender cards. And what this is going to represent is what the Creator wants you to know about what is falling away out of your life during the fall period. And don't worry, right away after we pull this card, we're going to move on to seeing what new thing is going to replace that. So you're not going to be left empty as that energy moves out, new energy moves in, and that's what we're going to look into here. So just one more time here. Okay, Creator, what do you want our Virgos that chose the orange leaf to know about what's falling away this autumn? Okay. It said not all those. Don't worry, you don't have that much falling out of your life. So surrender to the habit of people pleasing. Yep. And it says, speak your needs and be true to yourself. Focus on your own happiness instead of always trying to make everyone else happy. So I'm sure you're mostly happy about that. I know, being a recovering people pleaser and enabler in codependent relationships, that surrendering that can feel scary, because if that's what I was defining myself by, my worth depends on how I can help others, what I can do for others, how I can please others. If that's taken away, then who am I? And it becomes a scary kind of place. But it's a change of inner intention that happens. You're still going to be able to give and help people, but it's going to be without expectation, without attachment to your worth. So don't panic. Just take a deep breath, and we're going to look in to see, as that energy moves out, what it's going to bring for you here. And we're going to pull a card here from this wild, unknown archetype. And this is just going to tell us what energy is going to be coming in and sparking because of that change that you're making inside as that falls away. All right, Creator, what do you want our Virgos that chose the orange leaf to know about what new energy is going to be coming in for them with the removal? Nope. Yes? Okay. So you have transformation into the beautiful butterfly. You have the mystic. And I love the third eye that's there. So definitely seeing things from a higher perspective, seeing things more clearly, and definitely a transformation that's happening. You're becoming something that's more you than pretending to be something that you think everyone else wants you to be. This is the seeker, the light worker, the dreamer. And the mystic is often misunderstood in our culture, depicted as a wandering or lighthearted daydreamer. Yet, like Shiva, the true mystic plays a critical role in society, remaining fearlessly dedicated to the path of transformation. In order to save the earth from darkness, Shiva swallows the poison of the world and holds it in his throat, slowly transmuting the liquid into nectar. And this is the work of the mystic. They do not fear darkness, but rather sit in the presence of it, harness the potential and latent energy behind it and embed it with light. They are patient and prudent change makers, seeking growth above all else. Unanswerable questions are the mystic's lifeblood. The mystic revels in mystery, in the great riddle of life, dancing with the forces of light and dark upon its wings. It may seem that the mystic is inward facing, yet its light beams back to the world with the strength of 1,000 stars. And like any light worker, the mystic must build a relationship with fire. This begins by awakening the inner flame within. And when you're in the lighter side of this energy, you are the remover of darkness. You're a visionary, you're ageless. And when you're more in the darker energy side of this, then you expect results, you seek attention and recognition, which is what people pleasing is about, right? And to go deeper, they recommend you can look into, it's called Zen Koans. It's Koans. Look into poetry, or the Murakami novels, and that's spelled Murakami. And so if any of those resonate with you, you can Google those, because I do not know what some of those are. And that's quite all right. That's the mystery, the light you love, the great riddle of life you like to go searching for, right? But this is so perfect because, like we're talking about, as this people-pleasing falls away, you do see things from a different perspective, this higher perspective of a butterfly. And it's about connecting to your inner light, the true you. And what's pushing you back to here is this people-pleasing that you've been taught defines you out here in the external world. That has been very disappointing, and it's left you feeling empty, right? And all that pushes you back to the inward, into you, which is where you find all this beautiful energy. Excuse me. We're of course going to dig deeper into this, and we're going to use the Wild Unknown Tarot, which is the companion deck to this Wild Unknown archetype deck, just to see what else the creator wants you to know about this energy of the mystic that's coming into your autumn period. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull like 4 sections of cards. And we're going to start off by pulling from the Lion's portal that started on, or the Lion's Gate portal, that started on August 8th. The energy that entered into the portal into your life at that time, all the way up till September 22nd, when the autumn equinox begins. And then we'll pull a card here for September 22nd to October 22nd, which represents, that period of time there, October 22nd to November 21st. It goes back one day because there's 31 days in October, so that's why it drops back from October 22nd to November 21st. And then this will be November 21st up to December 21st, which is the winter solstice. So let us take a look here, just a couple more shuffles here. Okay, they're like, no. So, yep, you said all 3 are for this period of the Lion's Gate here. So those are those. And then for September 22nd, please. Okay, October 22nd. Okay, and then November 21st, please. All right, and then we'll also be pulling cards here from the Everyday Tarot for each of these spots here, just for clarification on those periods as well. So we're starting off here, Lion's Gate, August 8th, all the way up to September 22nd. And you've got the 9 of Cups, which is totally about emotional fulfillment, feeling full and whole. So this energy that started here on August 8th really is bringing this new awareness around what does make you feel emotionally whole. So already this energy, and I did mention in the intro, the Lion's Gate readings that I did by zodiac sign. There's pick of cards for that too. So there's a link at the end of this one. So if you didn't check those out, check it out, because you'll see more information on what energy entered in here and what was going to be igniting this moving forward, because that was like part 1. And so this is part 2. But I really feel whatever was going on here has really brought you a huge awareness around what makes you truly happy. What, you're seeing, like we were talking about, that people pleasing hasn't worked out well, but you are discovering what does make you happy, what does make your heart sing. Okay, that explains it. Ace of Cups. So this is the Holy Grail, the chalice. And I'm so sorry, let me just take a quick drink of water here. I have a frog in my throat. There we go. So yeah, this is take a drink of water, a living water. How funny. So this is like I said, the chalice, the Holy Grail. This is the cup that is offered to you, that's full of the living waters, that which does fulfill you, that does make you feel whole and complete, because that's the unconditional love of the Creator of all things. And so this is connecting to that amazing love from above. So totally makes sense why you're feeling fulfilled, because you're really just one sip of that cup quenches your thirst so much more than all the drinking that you've done your entire life in the physical form. Wow, look at that. Butterfly. And it's even more amazing is that this 2 of Pentacles represents, you see the infinity symbol here. This is your infinite self. And so it's connecting to your infinite self. One piece of it is your human character that you're playing upon the earth, kind of like the caterpillar that you play along the jungle floor, consuming, feeling, you're in danger because there's so many things that want to eat you and it can happen to you as the caterpillar. And then the other, of course, is your higher self, your higher being, who you truly are, and connecting to that. And then that allows you to be the beautiful butterfly that flies. The 2 represents the 2 sides of you that are there. So this aligns so perfectly. And as we were talking about, it talks about connecting to your inner brightness. That's what this is. So, all right, Creator, what else do we want them to know about this energy from the Lion's Gate all the way up here until September 22nd? Okay, not yet. Yeah, so this one and this one. Yeah, and I was hearing too, as I was doing that, patience. It takes time for the caterpillar to decompose within the cocoon to form, the butterfly. So, it does take time. And it's step by step. It's not a huge overnight, where the caterpillar creates a cocoon and boom, oh, look, I'm a butterfly. It takes a little bit of time. It takes a season. Yeah, and then you go, the High Priestess. So yeah, connecting to the higher worlds, connecting to the spiritual world, looking into the unknown behind the veil. She's the one that has that beautiful, connection to the other side. So really, digging into the spiritual realm, taking time, like the High Priestess, she'll go into her temple. She will go through her rituals, whatever she needs to cleanse her mind and energy from all that chaos in the external world, whatever it needs to quiet all those noises to get into that place, whether it's a hot bath or incense or candles or whatever it might be. You go into your temple. It could even be walking in nature, exercising, doing art. There's so many ways that what you do to help clear away all that energy. and you're able to then raise your vibration into a place of unconditional love and peace and joy and laughter, which allows you to be at the frequency where you can hear from the other side, where you can connect with the Creator and the Holy Spirit or Spirit, your angels and guardian angels and spirit guides and your loved ones on the other side, your ancestors and unicorns and fairies and whatever else, you might believe in, is your support team on the other side, those beings of unconditional love and light. She's the one that is able to go to her, retreat into her temple to do that. Yeah, because the fool represents for me, this is our soul, and this is our little human character we're going to play before we jump off into the earth for that. So this is definitely about connecting to your soul. I mean, there's can't repeat the message enough here. This is about connecting to your side. This is about connecting to the love. This is about wholeness. But this is, connecting to their side and connecting with your soul and your higher self, realizing that you are two in one. So, yeah, just can't make it up. It's like, yes, definitely that's the message. And then you move into September 22nd, which you've got the Chariot here. And I love this too, because it's got both the moon of the high priestess and the sun, which is which is you. And the Chariot is about making decisions and about seeing that life is about two choices and your power of choice. And that is in every moment. It's either choosing from our human side of fear of losing love, of losing conditional love, or of our higher self, which is choices of unconditional love. And the Chariot, if you removing the 0 to the side, you have 3 rows of 7. And the first row is about our experience as our ego, as the caterpillar. And the 7 is the final one on the end, which is the culmination, which says, you've mastered and are understanding your human side of yourself. And you're ready for that expansion into the next phase, to the next row, starting with 8, the Strength card, which is about meeting our little lion, it's like the little animal self, which in that card is the lion meets our higher self, the lady that's in there. And that's that bond where you're understanding that you're more than just the human, that you are expanding. So it's definitely, this message. And this is like, yes, you're understanding all of that and you're ready to move, and you have that awareness during this month to move into that territory. So we're going to see what else the Creator wants you to know about September 22nd to October 22nd. Okay, what else do you want the Virgos to know about that period of time there? Anything else? One last time. Okay, no, it's just those. Yep, and you got the 4 of Cups here. So this is great, and it does go very well with this Chariot card here, because you've got your 3 cups here, which are the cups that the world offered you. This people pleasing. These are the things that if you did them or had them or in a relationship with them, these were the things that are supposed to make you feel whole and complete. And those things, of course, leave us thirsty and leave us wanting. And then you have the Ace of Cups that's being offered to you here, which is this Ace of Cups we talked about. So you're being offered remembrance. You're being offered the living waters to see above that. You can see that in this one, this person's very bored with the 3 of Cups that were there. They're like, had those, not doing what I want next. Those are, I'm just kind of bored and unimpressed with the results of those cups, those other cups, right? Yeah. Then you have the Hierophant. So, a few cards before in this Chariot is where this Hierophant falls. And what the Hierophant represents is we go through a period when we're born of, we come down here like the soul, when we jump down into this little body inside of our mothers, and then we grow and we come out of her womb and are disconnected, and then we start living our life, and we feel so free as a young child because it's so much adventure, so much, the world is full of possibilities, and we express our spiritualness, and we still have a connection and a remembrance a bit to the other side, until we're taught not to, until we're taught to suppress ourselves. And the Emperor, which comes before the Hierophant, is like society. It's the one that puts all those expectations, because the intent is you've got to have some rules or we're all going to kill one another. And it's like, okay, but then it goes overboard, and then there's power trips. People try to control things outside of just, having the service of people in mind with the rules. Then it becomes like, well, we want to be in power, so we're going to make these rules to make us stay in power. And other people are like, oh, no, all that kaka-tutu-poo-poo. And then with the Hierophant comes after that and does the same thing to our spiritual side, our spiritual reflection in this lifetime in this earth. And so like organized religions will try to organize your spirituality, because that's what our human side wants to do. It wants to put everyone in a box society-wise, and wants to put in a box like, oh, spirituality, this is what we have to do. And I never diss society, I never diss organized religion, because they're all part of our beautiful adventure, and they all have their purpose. And a lot of times organized religion is our introduction to the other realm. We didn't even know it existed until an organized religion comes and introduces us to it, depending on where we're at in our lives, right? So they have wonderful, beautiful things, but this card is coming to you to let you know that it's during this time that you do question the spiritual beliefs that you've had, because you feel boxed in by them. I went through that with, even with pulling cards, because the organized religion I grew up in, this was demonic and satanic and of the devil, and you should avoid it at all costs. But part of my evolution and my questioning of those beliefs was, the creator. I asked the creator, and it was like, is this bad? And I was like, no, it's like a knife. A knife can be used to spread butter, to cut bread, to set people free that are bound by rope, right? Or it can be used to stab someone and kill them and hurt them. Any tool has that. Whoever's bearing the tool, holding the tool, is the one who's controlling how the tool is going to be used. And so he goes, this is a tool, because this, doing cards has brought me so much closer to the creator, brought so much information to me about my shadow side and things that I could transform, and it's helped a lot of people, and it does. There's all these gifts and these abilities, and so that's what the Hierophant is saying, is that it's that type of thing. It's like these beliefs that you have set, whatever area it might be in, spiritually, it's like, expand those, because you open the flow of that love and that connection to the other side that we're able to have. It's all of unconditional love and light. That's all you're hearing me talk about, is unconditional love and light, and that's the intention that you go forward with that. And then all that brings you into October 22nd, which is the Hermit. And so the Hermit is about you pull away, making sure you're spending time to yourself and finding this bright light that is within you, which is you. So you're spending time getting to know yourself more and more, which is so perfect, because as you question these things, and you embrace this love that's coming in, then you allow yourself to expand even more. And this isn't about, you have to totally go up in the mountains away from everyone else, where no one is going to talk to you and, you're become this hermit that lives in a cave. It just means spend more time to yourself and make yourself a priority. Look at pleasing yourself instead of other people. And then we're going to see what else the Creator wants you to know about this hermit month of spending some time alone, getting out into nature, taking a hot bath, making sure you have your alone time. And I know it's difficult, especially if you have children, and so you have all these responsibilities and stuff. And this is brought to my attention, so I'm going to mention this to you. It's like my roommate, her daughter, very busy, 2 kids, 2-3 dogs, a husband, a very, beautiful career and everything else. And so it's hard for an individual to find time. And she actually found a dating app it's not a dating app, but it's like a mom date app where you find other mothers and that are, they all are on there, and you find people that you have, good connections with, that you can go have coffee with and do things like that. So you do get some human, alone time with yourself. And I'm sure they have that for if you're a dad too. But they, in addition to that, what you can do is as you develop these relationships with others, they're in the same spot, right? They're like, I have no time to myself, or little time to myself. So you work out where maybe one weekend you have a sleepover or a day date even where they bring over their kids, and that mom goes and has her alone time, right? And then next weekend or a couple weekends later, then the other mom takes the kids while the other mom has her alone time. And so we can find ways to make that happen. But the biggest thing is when this people pleasing will keep us in that loop of, well, that's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to sacrifice myself for my family and my children in the world. But the biggest gift you can bring the world is a bright, healthy you. Because if you're full of energy and you're full of love and all that is flowing outside of you instead of this blowing up at times and having resentment and different things, you're able to, fill up, and people are getting all this overflow from you, and you feel whole and complete. Beautiful, the nectar that's flowing out of this cup of you is so much sweeter, and because it's not bitter, so it's sweet. And they're like, oh my gosh, the little I get from you is so much more than all that other bitter, action and attention you gave me. And so just, there's your message. So Creator, what else do you want Virgos to know about this October 22nd to November 21st? Yep, so here you are, the star, and definitely, so this is connecting, making sure you're connecting to your higher self. Again, the bright star. And the Aquarian, this is like the Aquarian card, bringing you these are the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Cups, living water. It's pouring out into your physical world, so, your physical world, your mind. It's also pouring into your water, which is your spiritual side and your emotions. So this is really overflowing. That love, like I was talking about, it's just, you're being bright in the darkness. It's a hopeful card. It's a card of hope. And it's bringing all that love, and it's just overflowing out. I mean, I just can't. It's exactly what we were talking about, right? All right, and then that, so definitely this period of time is for you to make sure you get your alone time, because it is that beneficial, time and energy. The Aquarian energy too, before we move on, the Aquarian energy, and we just had a full moon, 2 full moons in a row in July and August that were in Aquarius. And that energy that comes with that is they care about community and they care about the overall whole, but it also has this objective viewpoint where you can see other people for who they are, and you allow them to be who they are, because you're not like resisting their beliefs and their choices and everything else. You're allowing them to be who they are. It doesn't mean you're taking on theirs as your own, which is the wonderful thing, is that you let them be them, you let everyone be them. And because it's not this dictator trying to rule everyone's life, people are more open to receiving what they have to offer. And the gift that the Aquarian energy brings with these, this Ace of Cups, with these cups it's offering of this living water, is it shows us what we're truly thirsty for. Because when we're not connected to this living water, we're out here trying to quench our thirst, and what we're drinking is like soda or pop, and it's full of sodium, which makes us thirstier. It doesn't quench our thirst. And so it brings us this awareness of what we are truly thirsty for, which is that unconditional love. What we're searching for on the outside is love, 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 but all we're finding is conditional, disappointing love that's temporary and ever-changing and unstable. Whereas when we connect to our higher self and that other side, that's when you connect to this inner love here. All right. And then you go into November 21st here, and then you have the Three of Wands. And this really feels like a new portal moving into new directions. The Two of Wands is usually about making plans, like from A to B to C to D to D to D, and then you move from A to B. And the Three of Wands is when you are moving into a new phase of your plan. But I really feel that with all this awareness that's coming, with moving away from people pleasing, you kind of look at your life and going, well, I've always made decisions, whether it's who you're with or what career you're in or where you live or blah, 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 whatever, all those decisions you made in your life to please others, you are able to take this time from November 21st to December 21st to find out what it is you want from your life. And those are the reflections that you get to do and those plans you get to make. And let's see what else the Creator wants you to know about that period as well. What about these new plans or this new energy for November 21st to December 21st? Anything else? And last pass. Okay, that's it. Yeah, we have the Nine of Wands. And so this is perseverance. It also, because the Wands is about your drive, your ambitions, like we talked about the Three of Wands, it's your passions, and it can be your spirituality as well. And what I see, and this is a perfect example in here, is this is the Ace of Wands. This is your spiritual connection and your spiritual power, your inner fire. Like this was talking about, it requires you to get in tune with your inner fire. Wands are fire energy, so it's about getting in tune with your inner fire. But you hold the power to move that wand and move through the blocks that you're having. And I also feel, especially with this people pleasing, there's so much energy that you take on from others people's emotional energy, and all that responsibility you take for other people. You hold all that energy in you, and this is about learning that you can release that you don't have to carry it anymore, and you hold that power to transform that, because you're the one that's holding on to it, and you're the one that's taking on the responsibility. Other people might demand it of you too. It happens. People are like, hey, you're the one responsible for my happiness. And you're like, okay. And you're like, impossible task, because you can't control their happiness. You can make it an easier or harder choice for people to be happy, but you can't make them make a choice they don't want to make. Right? And so this is about releasing that. People do get upset when they are manipulating you to give of yourself. And, the leech, when it is on your body trying to using you as a blood bank, it doesn't want to let go. And so sometimes you have to burn it off with that fire. And it screeches when it happens, but it'll let go. And then you can, again, fill up with your full blood instead of being sucked dry all the time. Yeah, because here you go. This is it's funny that this is XXI, right? Which is 21, and this is XXI, the mystic. So wonderful synchronicity, because the world is about major completion in your life, major ending and rebirth. You've completed a wonderful, amazing cycle, and you're ready, to move on to the next phase, to move on to the next wonderful adventure in your life that is for you. And like I said, in the long run, it's like, I was talking to my mom, and she had her neighbor had passed away, and she goes, I don't know if I was the friend that I that she wanted me to be, and different things like that. And I'm like, Mom, the wonderful thing about life is that we get to choose, for ourselves, and everyone else gets to choose for them. And if you chose to, force yourself to be a friend to someone, like a best friend, and you just really, that point in your life, you're not ready to be a best friend, you don't have the energy to do that. If you force yourself, it's going to be a draining, poorly unfolding best friend relationship, right? Because you're forcing yourself. It's not of your own free will, and they're going to sense it, and it's going to be, not as an amazing interaction for them as if you say no, and then they find someone who does have the energy, and it's the perfect time in their life for them to be that best friend. So with us forcing ourselves to be something that we don't want to be, we're actually cheating the other person out of having the experience they're wanting. And so we can allow people to go on and find what they're looking for. And if you don't feel you're it, right? So that's kind of what I feel like with this people pleasing, is it's okay to let go. It's okay not to please everyone, because they can go find their own source of happiness, because they have to. They're the only ones that can. And so I'm going to leave it at that. And lastly, we're going to pull a card here. Yes, another Wild Unknown deck. I love these decks, obviously, and it's a companion deck to these two, but this is the Wild Unknown Animal Spirit deck. And so this is going to tell you about the... they already went this card, so we're just going to take this one. But this represents the spirit animal, or spirit animal energy that's going to be around you for this journey and this process here. Yeah. And so you've got the hummingbird. And this is a beautiful, a lot like the butterfly, but it moves a lot faster. And let's see what this energy brings in for you here. There we go. So the hummingbird is positive, enthusiastic, spiritually resourceful. So inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar, and it returns to those sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird, and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When you're in balance with this hummingbird energy, you're smart, you're curious, you love to learn. When you're out of balance of this energy, you're pushy, you're insistent, and you're sharp. And to bring that energy into balance, it says take a class. So it can be a class of any kind. I love this spiritually, this is all about spiritual, searching inside. So maybe a spiritual class of some kind, or a book or something along those lines can help as well. But what a perfect energy to help you through all this, through this journey and connecting to your higher self. It definitely brings this burst of energy, this burst of a flood of activity that does take you to a higher place. I love hummingbirds are just such cute little creatures if you get to see them. And out at my brother's, he lives out kind of in the country, and he used to have like hummingbird feeders that would have 10, 15, 20, sometimes, all these hummingbirds. And I would watch them, and I'd just watch them fly way, way, way up in the sky, and then be on the very top of a pine tree. You'd see this little dot, and they're way, way, way up there. And so just this higher viewpoint, and just this excitement and this new energy, they just to help you and help guide you through here. So, let them be, your little guide. So if you see them, in nature, pay attention. If you see them on social media or however they may come your way, just let the hummingbird remind you to come back to you, come back to the self as you go through this. And a reminder about, am I people pleasing in this moment? Because they'll appear when you just sometimes need a little poke with their little nectar gatherer there, and go, hey, there's sweeter nectar to be found than trying to please other people. And so beautiful, beautiful autumn coming up for you. And just know as you go through this entire autumn period that every second of every day you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And I love you too. You have an amazing autumn, and I'm sure I will talk to you soon. You take care now. All right, my Virgos, if you chose reading number 3, which is the yellow leaf, then this is the reading for you. And we're going to start off by pulling a card here from this Power of Surrender cards. And this is going to represent what the Creator wants you to know about what is falling away from you in the fall equinox autumn time frame here. And don't worry. As soon as we find out what is falling away, we're going to immediately look into what's coming in new as that leaves the picture. So you're not left empty at all, and we'll see what the Creator wants you to know. So Creator, for our Virgos who chose the yellow leaf, what do you want them to know about what's falling away for their autumn period here? Okay. You got surrender to spirit. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful picture there. And it says, once you've done everything you can do to achieve a goal, turn the situation over to the divine. Let spirit work its magic for you. Yeah, so this is a lot like letting go of outcomes, letting go of the process, letting go of the expectations of how things have to unfold. I love that because it's really about, do what you can do, and then release the rest to spirit, and then just listen to spirit, listen to those beautiful voices from above that have that higher perspective, and then ask questions, ask for guidance, for signs, for answers, and follow your gut, follow your heart, follow those whispers of love for the direction that you're going there. So I am loving that message for sure. So we're going to pull a card here from the Wild Unknown archetype, just to see as you surrender to spirit and let that other energy go, what comes in new for you. All right, Creator, for our Virgos that chose the yellow leaf, what do you want them to know about what new is coming in because of surrendering? Okay. Yep. Got the bridge. I love that there. And yeah, definitely, like I was saying, how you get from here to here is over the rainbow trail, and they're going to show you the way. I'm not going to break into song about over the rainbow, don't worry. And then we'll see what else comes from here. Oh, here it is, right here. So the bridge, it means the connection, the link, the gate. So bridges are built to connect two worlds. They create flow, allowing us to travel between realms, ideologies, or personalities. This archetype is the gesture of acceptance, of saying yes rather than withdrawing, separating, and saying no. When we cross a bridge to an unknown land, we're led magically into a new reality. We open up to otherness. Healing and communication are made possible, and we enter a state of curiosity, wonder, and learning. The shaman, for example, creates the bridge between the everyday world and the sacred. And this card asks us to study the connections between the seemingly disconnected parts of our lives, relationships, ideologies, histories, whatever it might be. Remember that a bridge can't be forced. It must be made with love, or its structure will not withstand the inevitable weather of life. Love it. It says, lie on the floor and listen to the Bridge Over Troubled Water song. Notice the ease and acceptance within the melody, the feeling of rising above the muck. And then imagine building a bridge. And then imagine building a wall. Which energy is needed for the situation at hand? Which image softens and heals the heart? Great questions. When you're in the light side of this energy, you have acceptance, you feel magical, you have communication. When you're in the darker side of this energy, you're lacking boundaries and you're forcing connections. And to go deeper into this energy, you can look into Bifrost. It's Bifrost. It's the burning rainbow bridge of Norse mythology. So if you feel that resonates and want to look into that for you, then feel free to dig into that, go on that adventure. But yeah, definitely, I love this surrendering to spirit, that with the outcomes in the bridge that happens between your present and the future. Build that with love. And I really love that. It's a step at a time. A bridge usually doesn't just go, it's there. It takes time. Each strand is built and the foundation is built to allow you to move across it. But I really feel like this trust is what comes from that. And we're, of course, going to dig more into this anyway. We're going to pull from here the Wild Unknown Tarot, which is a companion deck to these Wild Unknown archetype. And what we're going to do is kind of pull 4 separate card poolings, I guess you can call it. And the first one is going to represent from the Lion's Gate that happened on August 8th all the way up till September 22nd, which is the beginning of the Autumn Equinox. So the energy and experience that you're bringing in as you come into fall. And then we're going to pull a card here, which is going to represent September 22nd up to October 22nd. And then this card will be October 22nd up to November 21st. There's 31 days in October. That's why it goes back a day. And then this one will be November 21st up to December 21st, which is up to the winter solstice. So we'll see here what the creator wants you to know. All right, so for Lionsgate energy up to September 22nd, please, what do you want our Virgos to know? Okay, that's the one. And then September 22nd. Whoa. No, don't worry. It's not all those cards. Okay. And I said, that one there and that one there. What are these two for? Okay, they said those are uniquely going to be for this. Once we get to the middle here, they said this is going to go here, which is very odd. That's the first time out of all the readings I've done that that's happening. So you get a special little X marks the spot. And then also what we'll do here is these everyday tarot will get clarification around each of these areas here. So first, it's the Lion's Gate up to September 22nd. What energies, what experiences? And you've got the Nine of Swords. So this represents, it is definitely like a nightmare card. It's also like the insomnia card, insomniac. And it's because all these swords are thoughts, beliefs, mindsets about life. It's like expectations, and what's keeping you up at night, what's keeping you stressed is trying to meet all these expectations and trying to figure out, how everything is going to unfold. All the shoulds and the needs and the supposed tos and the have tos, they wear you out. The next card after this is the Ten of Swords, which is usually picturing, something dying, like laying down on the ground with all the swords stuck in it. And it's like, I'm exhausted, I'm ready to give up. And this is what this point is like. You are realizing that with all this energy coming in, that all these things that you're trying to have happen, when you're focusing on the outcomes and all the steps, it's like the journey of 1,000 steps, begins with one step, but if you're focused on all the other 999, is exhausting. And you don't have enough energy for all those future days. You just have enough energy for today. And so you focus on today's actions. You can still plan, but you don't invest energy in doing those things, for those other 999 steps. You just focus energy on completing day one. And then on day two, you focus on day two, etc. And so I love that this is the showing that that's the awareness that you're coming to, is like, yes, continuing to do things as I've done it is utterly exhausting. It really keeps me up at night, and it impacts my sleep. We'll see what else the Creator wants you to know too about this energy. But I feel, this is a general reading, but I feel for a majority of you, you're getting these ahas of, I see that it's very obvious to you what is, keeping you up at night, is the way to say it. Okay, Creator, what else do you want our Virgos to know about this period here? And then you got the King of Cups. And this is beautiful because cups are emotions. The king, he's at the very end of the deck. So he's the one that has learned to master his emotions. I kind of look at it as Christ's love or unconditional love, because he's learned through feeling all the emotions from the origin of the Ace of Cups all the way through and feeling everything up until the end. He realizes that this Ace of Cups that he holds in his hand, which is the chalice, the Holy Grail, it's what holds the unconditional love of who we really are from above. That's why I call it kind of like Christ's love, because it represents that love that's unconditional. And that is what meets and solves all these things, because when you're able to surrender and trust Spirit, you also trust timing. If you're going to trust God, as they say, you've got to trust his timing too. So, with the Creator, he or she, whatever your higher power you believe in, you can trust in that unconditional love, knowing that everything's unfolding for you and nothing's going to pass you by that's meant for you. So, I love this. Connecting to Spirit is going to be a huge piece for you. And then that brings you into the Autumn Equinox, which is September 22nd here. Yeah. Then you got the Mother of Pentacles. So you can see the Mother of Pentacles. It's not like the Empress energy where it's Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. Pentacles is the outside world, but it's taking time to nurture yourself. And I really feel, when I mentioned the Creator and I said he or she, you wanted to know that there's this feminine side, a divine feminine side of our Creator, who, like in the Christian faith, is like the Holy Spirit is the comforter that was left behind, and that comforter is what is there for us. And that you realize that, like any mama, they want to take care of us. They want to make sure that we're nurtured, that we have everything we need, that we're feeling, and this is all, Pentacles is about the external world too, so that all these needs are coming to you and they're being met. With the mother, of course, it's the feminine energy, which also brings emotion with it. And so it's that feeling of abundance, that feeling of gratitude, that feeling of thankfulness. Let's see what else the Creator wants you to know here. Okay, no shuffling, they said. Strict pulling cards. Okay. Anything else? Nope, they said this is it here. So you've got the Two of Swords, which swords are, like all these swords here, are about your thoughts, your mentality, your mindsets, and you have this choice between two things here. And what I love is that the moon is here, and that she's blindfolded, and there's water behind here, which also represents emotion. And so we have this choice that we make, actually in every moment. One is of the human side of fearing losing conditional love, and we have the other, which when we connect to the higher realms with the moon, and getting into the emotions and below the depths into the unconscious, we connect to our spiritual side. And so we always have this choice between the fear of losing conditional love or of choosing unconditional love. And there's this wonderful balance that comes in here with that, especially with this energy here of love and the mother. It's just really about you're learning to make decisions, connected to spirit, rather than just this logical mind, all these supposed to's and shoulds and need to's and have to's of the human side of us, all these roles and expectations that have, been acclimated into our being, that end up impacting our health and our mental and emotional state, right? And so with all this awareness that you're getting from the Lionsgate up to this point, when you come into this first month, you're really applying it, and you're really using it to make choices. And you're seeing that the choices you make with your heart and your gut and with information from spirit, that those things feel so much more full of joy and happiness, and don't feel nightmarish at all. And those decisions that you still make based on logic, and only logic, don't turn out the way you think they should have, or as well as those other decisions you make when you include all that advice from a higher perspective. And then it brings you into October here, and you have the Ace of Pentacles. And it's beautiful about this is this represents new opportunities, new, it almost feels like movement into new places. Like for some reason, with this log being cut down, you see all the timelines of everything that happened. It's like there's this message of, moving beyond what you used to. When you did what you always did, you get what you always got. And you see that in the history of all the rings of the tree. But there's this amazing new way of doing things that, because of this flow, when you leave all these expectations behind, it opens up to creativity as well. It opens up to see things, like when you see things from this higher perspective. If you're connecting to the Creator for advice, the Creator is full of creativity, and so you see new solutions that you didn't see before, and total new possibilities that you didn't see before either. So let's see what else. Yes, they did tell me to shuffle this time. We'll see what else the creator wants you to know about October 22nd to November 21st. Okay. Yeah. So things from a different perspective, from a higher perspective, and it's about taking action and movement as well. So you have new wisdom, and again, just like as I was saying, you have this new perspective, a heavenly upper perspective of things. So because of that, that is what is allowing these amazing opportunities and changes that come between October 22nd and November 21st. And then you move into November 21st, and then we had the Mother of Pentacles, you have the Son of Pentacles. And the Son of Pentacles is known as like the Knight of Pentacles in a regular deck. And out of the three Knights, K-N-I-G-H-T, this is the one of slow movement, of taking your time, of allowing things to unfold. You plant the seeds, you do all the work to maintain it, but you can't force it. And so this is about, yes, you are going to have abundance coming. You just have to be patient and allow things to unfold in their own timing. Don't push things. And we'll, of course, pull more cards here. But yeah, so all these ideas, these new opportunities and possibilities, you're taking action on them, but they take time to happen. And that's okay, because it's worth the wait. Right, Creator, what else for this period here, November 21st to December 21st? Yep, you got the Eight of Cups. And this represents, the cups are emotions, and you can see that you're walking away from these things. There's things that no longer serve you that you are letting fall away. These are the stuff that's falling away. So there's things that you're walking away from because they no longer serve you. So, that definitely is good, because these new possibilities and new ways coming in, as the progress happens, it allows you to step away from things. Like the example that, I know this is a general reading, but the example that's given to me in my head is like you have this contract with a certain provider that offers you, this much for this much money. And then with this awareness that comes, you find new opportunities and new ways to do things. You're like, you can let that contract expire, and the time that it takes, it's like it takes time for your contract to end where you don't have penalties to get out of that contract. And then to transition into the new way of doing things as well. So there's this beautiful, yes, it's for your benefit. It takes time for you to walk away in some things. Other things are more immediate, but it's because of these new possibilities that allows you to do that. Yeah. And then you have the Knight of Pentacles again. So this is, they said, yeah, I really meant what I said. It's going to take time, so take it easy. You are going to get abundance from it. It's going to be worth it. Take your time. Yeah, and you have the Eight of Swords. And the Eight of Swords is the message that tells you, and it's reflective of this Nine of Swords, because these are all your thoughts and your beliefs. And what you realize during this time is that, oh my gosh, it was me, it was my thoughts, my beliefs, my expectations that were keeping me bound, keeping me blinded, keeping me tied up and bound, and making me feel limited and trapped. And so, with that awareness is where freedom comes, right? And so you don't, this isn't that you're stuck in that, this is the awareness that comes from it. And it's kind of like this. It's not like you're, all this binding that you had with these new possibilities. It's like, it would be like this contract. You're like, oh my God, I didn't realize all this time that my belief that that was the type of thing I needed is what was keeping me trapped in there. I could have stopped it years ago, but I was stubborn in my belief that no, this has to be the way, because this was my idea. It's almost like it was your idea to get into that contract. And so you didn't want to be embarrassed by admitting that it's not the best thing anymore, or if it even was the best idea all along. But because it was yours, you guarded it, and you had the strong belief and stubbornness to keep with it. But you realized, you know what? I don't have to do that anymore, again, all these expectations you have on how things have to unfold is what makes you feel bound and blinded, and all these emotions. You can even see it underneath. There's standing in emotional waters. So when you start to get stressed out, when you start to lose patience and things unfolding, realize these expectations are what bringing you the stress. You're focusing on the outcome and the other 999 steps when you go back to the step that's happening today. Okay. Then you have the X marks the spot here. So let's see what this is about. Yep. So you've got the, So you've got the Four of Swords, which this is about resting your mind, and it's like peace of mind. So yeah, it's like give your mind a break. And I love that this lamb has the little sun in there, because that's connect. Give your mind a break and connect to your spiritual side. That helps you build the bridge. And then you have the Eight of Wands, which is about spiritual messages coming from outside, because Wands is fire and reminds me of spirit. And you have this lightning bolt coming from the sky going zap, bringing you the energy, bringing you the messages from above. And they come quickly and they come a lot. And so this definitely is about listening. This was about resting your mind and connecting your spirit through the third eye. And these are the messages that you hear to come through. So they wanted to make sure, surrender to spirit. They wanted to emphasize, here we are, definitely surrender, because it'll be in your best interest. All right, and then lastly, we're going to pull a card here from, another Wild Unknown deck, and this one's the Animal Spirit Guide deck. And from this, we're just going to see what spirit animal or spirit animal energy is going to be with you from like the Lion's Gate all the way through up until at least the winter solstice. So what kind of tour guide do you have on this adventure that you have coming up? All right, Creator. For our Virgos that chose the yellow leaf, what spirit guide is going to be with them throughout this season? Okay. And you got the Whale. Beautiful card there. And we're going to put that right there in the middle. And we'll see what, of course, water. So it, of course, understands emotion. So the Whale, desire to delve deeper, profound peace, ancient wisdom. So the Whale represents profound emotional health and stability. Whale personalities are not afraid of emotional expression or traversing difficult terrain, as they have overcome many challenges in their lives. So these experiences have enriched them, given them stability, strength, and a depth that is rare. So Whale energy is usually linked to feminine forces of compassion and communication. We can depend on Whale personalities when all else seems lost, and trust them to be a beacon in our darkest hour. And when you're in balance with the Whale energy, you're calm, you're steady, you're deeply compassionate. When you're out of balance, then things feel heavy and you slip into the old story, like the old ways of doing things, right? So to bring into balance regular self-care. So it's a good energy. I mean, it's a wonderful guide to have with you during this adventure, because they're going to bring you back into the depths of things. They're going to let you see, you're going to hear the whale song, and they do that beautiful singing underwater when you're drifting off into old ways of doing things. And they're a wonderful escort to accompany you when you go into the deep diving to get into that place of, connecting to spirit, because, water represents our emotions. Water is just like our unconscious. It's, how we can dive deep and move into that realm where you can, connect and contact spirit. So it's a beautiful, strong, being to be with you during this beautiful time of change for you, and learning to live one day at a time, not 999 steps at a time. And just know, as you're going through all this, that every second of every day, you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things, and I love you too. Have an amazing autumn, and I am positive that I will talk to you soon. You take care.